There's a moment you catch your own face in a darkened window at night, and the person looking back at you seems older than your ID says. You smile easily in public, you hold doors, you ask people how their week was, and somewhere behind your ribs, a small voice quietly says, "They have no idea." People who survived too much don't walk around announcing it. They develop traits, quiet, sharp, almost invisible, that other people mistake for personality. If you're still here with me tonight, I want you to stay all the way through, because what I'm about to lay out might be the first honest mirror you've looked into in years. This isn't going to flatter you, it's going to recognize you. And there's a profound difference between those two things that most people never learn. The first thing too much pain does to a human being is it makes them brutally efficient. You stop wasting words. You stop wasting hope. You stop wasting yourself on rooms that simply don't deserve you. From the outside, people call this maturity. They call it being level-headed. What it actually is a nervous system that learned the precise, heavy cost of misplacing trust. You don't lash out anymore. You don't beg or chase. Not because you magically grew above those things, but because every single one of them was tried, and every one of them failed you completely. And here's where it turns. Most of what other people read as your strength is actually the residue of something that broke and reorganized itself into armor. That's not a flaw, that's biology. Watch how you react when everything goes wrong. There is a strange, slightly unsettling calmness you show in situations that send others into a panic spiral. A friend gets fired and breaks down. You watch them with steady eyes, already mentally rebuilding their resume in your head, because you've been there, quietly. Take Wyatt, 34, who lost his job, his apartment, and his father in one summer. Now, when coworkers complain about Mondays, he just nods. He's not cold, he's calibrated. People mistake that quiet calibration for indifference. They don't realize you used up all your panic 10 years ago on something they'll never know about. Then there is the allergy. It's hard to admit out loud, but you've developed a quiet allergy to fake people. Not a dramatic one, a surgical one. You can spot a performance from across the room. The over-laughing, the rehearsed empathy, the eye contact that doesn't actually reach you. Your spine knows first. And once you've clocked it, something inside you closes a heavy door that those people will never find again. They feel it, they just can't name it. But the part that actually exhausts you is functioning at a staggeringly high level while feeling almost nothing at all. You show up, you hit your deadlines, you laugh at the right times in the meeting, and then you drive home and sit in your car for 20 minutes before going inside. That gap between how competent you look and how empty you feel, that's the signature of someone who survived way more than they ever talked about.
If this is hitting you somewhere uncomfortable, type a single word in the comments, whatever word describes that drive home. Let's see how many of us live in the same parking lot. You also carry a deep, almost spiritual distrust of suddenness, sudden affection, sudden friendship, sudden warmth from someone who used to ignore you. You don't reject it outwardly, you just watch it. You stay polite, you stay warm, but something behind your sternum stays locked in the brace position, because you've learned the hard way that things that arrive fast usually leave faster, and the bill they hand you on the way out is always higher than the gift looked. Imagine Skylar, 29, dating again. When the new guy moves too fast, says too much, promises too soon, she doesn't melt. She tilts her head. She studies him. That tilt of the head is pure survival. That's a woman who's been sold the exact same story twice and is absolutely not buying the third edition. Along the way, you've become almost dangerously self-sufficient. And I don't mean that in the cute, branded, independent hustle kind of way. I mean it in the lonely sense, the kind where you'd rather move a heavy piece of furniture by yourself at midnight than ask one person who might say no. You don't ask because asking once cost you too much. A parent who sighed, a friend who used it against you, a partner who brought it up during a fight. So you learned to carry the weight yourself, quietly, and now nobody can take it from you because nobody even knows you're carrying anything at all. Underneath that independence is a brutal internal lie detector. It runs on its own, 24 hours a day, entirely without your permission. You can be mid-laugh at a dinner party, and a background part of your brain is already noting which smile was real and which one was just for the crowd. This is exhausting. People who haven't lived through what you've lived through don't have this scanner running. Their CPU is free. Yours is always sitting at 80%. There's a softness you used to have. You can sort of remember it. The way you used to believe people effortlessly. The way you used to be wrong, but warm. That softness didn't die. It just moved into a locked back room of the house, and you only let it out around the 2 or 3 people who've actually earned a key. You've also developed an almost unsettling tolerance for being misunderstood. You used to defend yourself constantly. You used to fight to correct the record. Now, you let people believe whatever they want. You let the rumor run its course. You let the wrong story settle in their head like dust they never wipe off. Because somewhere along the line, you realized that the people who demanded a painful explanation were never going to accept yours anyway. And the people who actually love you never needed one to begin with. That's a quiet kind of freedom you only get after life puts you through the grinder. Because of this, your relationship with time has fundamentally shifted. You just don't waste it the way you used to.
You don't sit in dead conversations. You don't let bad phone calls drag on. You don't reread messages from people who have already shown you exactly who they are. A friend cancels last minute for the 3rd time, and you don't even get mad anymore. You just quietly remove them from the part of your week that mattered. No dramatic speech, no confrontation, just a soft internal reassignment. They get moved from people to acquaintances, and they never even know the moment it happened. This leads to the most intimate change of all, and I want you to sit with it for a second. You have learned how to be your own primary witness. When something good happens, you don't always need to post it. When something painful happens, you don't always need to confess it. You can hold a moment entirely alone. Most people can't do that. Most people need an audience to make their experience feel real. You don't. That isn't pride. That is hard-earned interior space. You've stopped performing your own life, and the people still performing theirs feel slightly uncomfortable around you because you reflect something they're not ready to face. So they pull away, or they get critical, or they call you intense. That word, intense, is just what shallow people use when they find themselves standing next to depth. Now let's go to the root. Because none of these behaviors are random personality quirks. They didn't just appear out of nowhere by accident. They were built in childhood bedrooms, in silent waiting rooms, in holiday dinners where you watched the adults pretend and learned that performance was the family language. They were built the first time you realized the person who was supposed to protect you couldn't or wouldn't, or had their own collapse going on behind a closed door. They were built the first time you cried alone and figured out, with a child's terrible and sudden clarity, that nobody was coming to fix it. So you became the one who comes, for yourself, forever. And that silent decision is the rigid spine that everything else in your adult life hangs on. People look at you now and see a highly competent adult. What they don't see is the small kid inside who decided on a very specific night never to wait for help again. That kid is still running the operation. That kid is the exact reason you're so reliable, so hyper-observant, so careful, and so incredibly allergic to chaos.
And here's the brutal part. That kid is also the reason you can't fully relax, even on vacation, even in love, even when everything is finally going fine. Because the kid who saved you doesn't know the war is over. The kid still has one eye on the door. The kid is still waiting for the footsteps that used to mean trouble. Telling that inner kid we are actually safe now is the longest, hardest conversation of your adult life. and nobody else can have it for you. So here is where the shift starts. It doesn't start with an expensive therapy breakthrough. It doesn't start with a dramatic epiphany. It starts with a single, boring moment. A moment where you notice you're bracing for an impact that isn't actually happening. Someone says your name and you flinch internally before your brain says this isn't a threat. That tiny gap, the millisecond between the flinch and the catch, is where your whole life either repeats its oldest loop or finally starts to change. You don't have to perfectly fix it today. You just have to see it. Recognition without panic. You catch yourself bracing, and you let yourself unbrace 1 degree at a time. Slowly, almost embarrassingly slowly, you start to let some softness back into the front rooms of yourself. Not for everyone, just for the people who've actually shown up. You stop testing people for inevitable failure. You start letting them show you who they are without setting traps. You stop confusing hypervigilance with intelligence. You realize that the same survival instincts that kept you alive in the wrong rooms are now keeping you lonely in the right ones. And you start to update the software. And one day you laugh at something, really laugh, the kind that bends you forward. And a tiny part of you recognizes the sound. It's been a long time, but it's still you. That laugh in that ordinary kitchen on that ordinary Tuesday is a bigger victory than any motivational caption you could ever write about healing. Here is the hard truth. The pain didn't make you special, but what you did with it, the way you refused to become cruel, the way you stayed reachable, that is rare. The shift isn't becoming someone new. The shift is finally meeting the person who was underneath all of it, still intact, still kind, still here, and still yours. If you stayed with me to the very end of this video, look at your own hands for a second. Those are the hands that carried you out. Nobody else's, just those.